Should we do another tier list? I know, like, it's actually, tier list is the easiest way for me to explain my thoughts on the AWC. I really do think the asset changes are bigger than people realize. And I think it's going to allow other comps to win. You guys might think I'm coped out of my mind, but I do think that you might see some other stuff now. All right, so I made a video 13 days ago, ladies and gentlemen. It's called the Complete Dragonflight 1005 PvP tier list, all classes ranked. This is like what I thought would kind of happen. And I kind of want to talk about like what I've seen on the threes ladder and also what we're seeing in the AWC right now. And this is different than solo shuffle. Admittedly, this is going to be different than solo shuffle, so I just want to preface that. And this is a bit of speculation with some of the upcoming changes. I would say the biggest changes that they're making, let me just a quick little reminder. So Frost Death Knight's got a little bump. Evoker's got like some changes. They got some of their healing nerfed, and they also got some of their healing buffed. Hunters got buffed kind of across the board. Mistweaver's got big buffs. Holy Priest got some buffs. Shaman's got some changes. Destro Warlock's got some buffs. Demo got some really small buffs. Havoc lost its one-shot ability a little bit. Healing buffs to Evoker, so that includes Devastation Evoker. Beastmastery's Foresight got nerfed a little bit, and they also nerfed the bow. So that's something to keep in mind. And Mark's actually got some buffs. Mistweaver's got more buffs. Shadow Fiend, Assassination, Resto Shaman, Affliction Warlocks. I do think the Affliction Warlock backlash damage is bigger than people realize. Like, I think Affliction Warlocks might actually be good, unironically. I think there is a chance that Affliction Warlocks are actually not bad. Because if you can't dispel UA, like if it actually gets to the point where dispelling UA is really, really, really scary, I think Affliction could be insane, man. Yeah, so that's the dispel. So if you dispel UA, it's 35% more damage. It's big, man. It's going to be like, how much is it going to be? It's like an extra 30, 40,000 damage. I saw C2 one-shot himself yesterday, dispelling UA. Some big changes, and then Arms Warriors got some consistent damage buffs. The team that actually won in Europe played Destro Warlock. So it was Mercy on Destro Warlock, and they actually played RLD. They played a lot of different compositions throughout the tournament, but in the finals, they played RLD, and it looked very good. They actually forced, so it was Mercy, Brunhilde, and Asgarath. They forced Poggers, which is Waz's team, to bring in Chanimal on the Destruction Warlock. And they didn't win the mirror, or they didn't win the mirror. It was Evoker versus Resto Druid. But some people talk about Destro Warlocks as if like they got overall nerfs. And if you look at it from just like a DPS perspective, maybe I would agree. But I swear that the damage isn't as big as people think, at least in my mind. I think the fact that they're getting like these single target buffs. Soulfire, you might consider a meme, whatever. If you do run Soulfire, it does 1 billion damage. You might not play it. Okay, fine. But Incinerate got big single target damage. And bigger than that is Chaos Bolt got really big single target damage. So, and in my opinion, the single target damage matters more than just like the AoE pad damage. And yeah, even in Solo Shuffle yesterday when I was playing, there was a Warlock who was just spamming Soulfires. And if you'd interrupt them, he would just cast Chaos Bolts. So it's kind of like, it's like having G-Pi and Glacial Spike. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. So I think Destro Warlock stonks they're going up. Like, I would actually put them at like the top of the A list coming up. I think they're really, really good. So I'm going to go through these changes individually. Another big change that they're making, and it's something that I don't think a lot of people realize how big of a change it is they're making it so certain MS effects, or they're making it so MS effects in general just don't stack at all. So obviously rogues, they had wound and shiv. Those two together didn't stack, but what did stack in like a really weird way is if you death marked wound. So if you death marked, you had wound and shiv, it was a crazy amount of healing reduction, and that's not going to be the case anymore. So there is the possibility that you'll actually be able to heal through death mark. But not only that, it also breaks the synergy. This is my old tier list. Just keep that in mind. This is my old tier list. We're not done editing for next patch or for Tuesday. It breaks the synergy between Shadow Priest and Asa Rogue. So not only was Psy Fiend reducing healing, but it's stacked with Wound Poison. And similar to Destruction Warlocks, their little pool that they drop on the ground after the Chaos Bolt, like that's no longer going to stack with Wound Poison. That's no longer going to stack with Mortal Strike. So I think it breaks those synergies. And I feel like I'm actually going to take... I'm gonna do something really bold here. I'm going to delete the S plus Shiv Kidney OP. I still think rogues are going to be like S tier, but I think there's going to be certain classes that can actually compete with them now. I'm going to put Demon Hunter down here at A as well. We're not seeing nearly as many Demon Hunters as I kind of thought. So Destro Warlocks, I think they're getting up. I really think that Destro Warlocks could be up there at like the S tier. Demonology Warlocks seems like they've kind of like fallen off a little bit. Their big thing was like the amount of crazy disruption that they had, but I kind of want to move them down. I still think they're really good, but just in terms of like what we're seeing in threes, like Tyrant being bugged and everybody just, I feel like it's good into some stuff, but if you know how to like kind of manage all their pets, it's just not, it doesn't seem as good as Destro. So I'm actually going to move it down a little bit. Fury Warrior, that was one of the speculations that I got wrong. I put it at A. We're going down to C. We're not seeing any Fury Warriors in threes. So yeah, that one's out of there. Unholy Death Knight, I don't think it's bad. Survival Hunter. Survival Hunter is actually getting some buffs, and I think Survival Hunter is one of those specs right now. We're actually seeing it in certain comps. Like we saw Golden Guardians bring it out, and obviously the Fiends as well playing it, and kind of remains to be seen if like comps like Thug Cleave are going to be really, really good. I think there's solid picks into some stuff, but yeah, maybe some of the buffs to both Holy Priest as well as the Survival Hunter are going to end up being really, really meaningful, because although hunters, so one thing that happened with hunters, like a lot of people are talking about like Beast Mastery hunters getting buffed, but at least on the tournament realm, at the very least on the tournament realm, nerfing this bow, this is the bow from the last boss of the raid that everyone was using. It actually is a big damage nerf to Beast Mastery. So I think it evens out is what I've been told. Their buffs get canceled out by the bow, but if you don't have the bow, it's just strictly buffs. Holy Paladins still seem really, really strong. Resto Druids seem really, really strong. Evokers are really, really strong. Disc Priests are definitely at that A tier status. In terms of healers, oh, that's a talent. Oh, it's somewhere where the freaking bow got nerfed somewhere. I don't know where. Oh, it's the first PvP change. Here we go. Sorry. So I think one thing that I'm playing my Mistweaver right now. I'm playing Mistweaver, and I'm telling you, Mistweavers keep getting little buff after little buff after little buff after little buff. And I honestly and truly believe that Mistweavers are going to be an A tier healer. With some of the changes that they're getting to healing spheres, they're just their overall healing, more mana efficiency, like their throughput is going to be through the roof. There has to be a point where they're good. There has to be a point where they're good. I really, really, really believe it. And I think that I'm making a prediction that next week we will see Mistweaver monks in the AWC. That's my prediction. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong. But I think we're actually going to see a Mistweaver monk in the AWC. I think their healing is going to be very strong. And in 10.07, it's going to get even stronger when they get instant enveloping. So as a principle, as a generic principle, I don't really like putting tanks above D tier, but I'm going to, because I do think it's important to remember that Brewmaster is actually like a playable spec. So I think Brewmaster is actually good. But we haven't seen it in the AWC, but people are playing it, and people are high rated on the ladder, playing like Brewmaster Warrior. So I think it's worth noting that it's actually good. I know people are mad. Holy Priest as well. Like Holy Priests are getting, they're not getting huge buffs, but we'll keep them at B tier. I think they're still going to be a tier below all the other healers, but they'll have some comps. Let's see here. So I think we have to move Fire Mage up the power rankings. We're actually seeing Fire Mages play it in like RMP. Devastation Evoker has to go down in the power rankings. Ret Paladin will stay at C. Boomkin will stay at C. Although I feel like I'm actually going to move Boomkin up. I feel like there is a possibility. So there is like a really, really weird, there's a really, really weird thing that could happen, okay? Rogues get worse, okay? Warriors get better. Warriors getting better means wizards get better. Wizards getting better means comps like DH Boomkin become actually really good. I'm telling you right now, I've watched games. Like, one of the hardest things in the world to play into as a wizard comp is DH Boomkin. I feel like it could actually be like, it might actually get like cycled into the meta. I don't know if we'll see in the AWC, and it kind of remains to see if rogues get that much worse. But I do think there's going to be room for like a comp like this to actually be good and strong. I'm going to put Boomkins up because I think they're at least as valuable as a lot of the stuff. Subtlety Rogue is really good, but it only has that one comp. So if we're taking, I'm going to put Subtlety Rogue at A tier. Should I? A tier? I guess I'll keep it down with these specs because they're kind of like, these specs are like the kind of like niche. They only really have one comp. Frosty Caves are getting a little bit better. I still don't know if they're going to have anything else. Destro could move up to S tier. I actually agree. I'm going to put Destro up to S tier for now. I might regret that later, but I'll do it. I'm going to do it. I actually think Affliction Warlock's going to move up a power ranking also. I think Affliction Warlock could be really, really strong with the backlash on Unstable Affliction. Like, I swear, if you can't dispel Unstable Affliction, Affliction Warlocks might be able to just kill everything. Actually, going to put it above Demonology Warlock, Imkin, Fire Mage, Frost Mage. Yeah, I'm going to keep them there. I do fully recognize that both Fire Mage and Frost Mage are playable right now. But I think they only really... we might see comps for like Frost Mage or like Warrior Mage. People are starting to play that a little bit more, but I do think it struggles into certain things. And one thing I think it struggles into in particular is Destro Warlocks, from my own experience and from what I've heard. When you're playing, like, let's say you're playing like a mirror match between like a Frost Mage and a Destro Warlock, it seems like the Destro Warlock normally comes out ahead. Demon Hunter is definitely S tier. I don't know if I mean, Demon Hunter is really good, but I don't think I'm going to keep it at S tier for now. We're not seeing it. Like, this is what I'm seeing at high ratings. You know, this is what I'm seeing at high ratings. This is what we're seeing in the AWC actually find success. Obviously, you know, DKs, Frost DKs are getting some buffs, but I still think they're just going to be, they're still on like the level of scarcity of like Ret Paladin and Enhancement and Fury. It's just like, we're not seeing it. You know what I mean? I guess I should move Brewmaster down to C tier as well. Like, we're not seeing that either. We're not really seeing Outlaw that much either, but I'm still going to keep it at B tier. I think a good way to look at S tier, needs one of them in your comp. A tier has multiple comps. B tier has one comp. Yeah, I think that's a good way as well. Like, there's so much flexibility with these S tier specs. I think we're going to see them often. A tier, you see them quite a bit. They do have like multiple comps that they can run. B tier is like, you have like one, maybe two comps. C tier is like, you have one comp, but it's still kind of feeky. It's only good in certain situations. In D tier, you're just a tank. Oh, Marks Hunters. I don't really know where to place Marks Hunters now because they are getting like some decent buffs. But I kind of feel like Marks Hunter is one of those specs where the better your opponents get, the worse the spec becomes. It's getting some damage buffs here. I think it's getting some PvP buffs as well. Yeah, rapid fire damage increase, aim shot damage increase, chimera shot damage increase. I'm going to move them up a rank. I'm going to put them at C tier. I'm going to put them here with like the Ret Paladins and the Frost DKs. And yeah, the moment Warrior goes against a Caster Cleave, they might as well just sit at the pillar. I don't understand that being S tier. Well, that's just not true. That's not true. That might be your individual experience, but I'm telling you, Warriors have compositions where they can run down casters and hold their ground. Like, Warriors are just cowering at the pillar the whole game. That's like Ret Paladin levels of propaganda. Yeah, honestly, the way I see it is if the nerfs to assassination rogues are big enough, which I'm not convinced of, not 100% convinced of, but I could see it happen. Like, let's keep in mind that Golden Guardians, they played into Luminosity this week, and they actually played Warrior. Like, Peekaboo won a game on Warrior into the Asa Rogue, right? They played Warrior Shadow Priest Paladin into Asa Shadow Priest Paladin. They actually won a game. Maybe you could say it was a fluke, but I mean, they had multiple games that were close. And, you know, a consistent damage of Warriors being brought up a little bit, Asa being brought down a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's the possibility that, you know, it might get to the point where Warriors just outright replace Assassination Rogues. And they're the ones that are going to be playing like Shadow Priest Warrior Paladin and, you know, Shadow Priest Warrior Shaman and Warrior Lock and blah, 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 blah. All the Warriors in my stream right now are saying Warrior in S tier is beyond delusional. Okay. Well, we could agree to disagree. And I guess, you know what? Time will tell, because this is what I think is going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you know what? You can go into the comment sections. You can tell me, you know what, Venruki, you're wrong. I told you so. But I think we're going to see a lot of Warriors, my friends. I think we're going to see a lot of Arms Warriors. I think we're going to see a lot of Destruction Warlocks. But I think it all depends on kind of what happens. But yeah, Warriors are definitely super duper good right now. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I guess we'll see. The fourth cup starts on Wednesday, which is in 2 days, for both Europe and North America. I'm going to be eagerly watching the games to see, you know, if anyone is making different compositions. I'm going to be playing a lot on Tuesday as well, just see, you know, what's kind of going on. All right, cool. Thanks.